Once upon a time, the world watched with glittering eyes as Princess Charlene of Monaco, once an Olympic swimmer and South African beauty, became a bride draped in elegance and grace. Her wedding to Prince Albert II of Monaco was hailed as a fairy tale, the very picture of royalty and perfection. But while photographers captured smiles, and choirs sang beneath the arches of the cathedral, an invisible storm brewed quietly within the heart of the new princess. Behind the diamonds, the designer gown, and the royal carriage was a woman trembling with fear. A woman who, despite her regal title and palace walls, felt absolutely terrified. The early days of her marriage were not filled with blissful honeymoon moments or joyful adjustment to palace life. Instead, they were overshadowed by anxiety, a sense of entrapment, and an overwhelming loneliness that no tiara could fix. Charlene, used to freedom, water, and movement, suddenly found herself immersed in a world of rigid expectations, endless protocols, and a relentless spotlight. And even more jarring than the sudden fame was the growing realization that the reality of royal life bore little resemblance to the dream she had imagined. She had given up not just her swimming career, but her homeland, her identity, and her privacy. Her every move was scrutinized, every gesture analyzed, whispers echoed around every corner of the palace. She was the outsider, the foreigner, the woman who dared to marry into one of the oldest royal houses in Europe. While Prince Albert was used to the attention, to the tradition, to the palace machinery, Charlene was not. And the transition hit her like a tidal wave. It was reported that she felt utterly unprepared for the role she was expected to play. Being a princess wasn't just about elegant gowns and attending charity balls. It was a full-time job, a constant performance, and a lonely existence. Her inner circle diminished. Friends from her past life were far away, unreachable. Phone calls were monitored, appearances tightly controlled. The rigid expectations of royal life left her gasping for air, metaphorically drowning in an ocean of protocol. The wedding itself was cloaked in rumors even before it began. Whispers spread like wildfire across Europe that Charlene had tried to flee Monaco multiple times before the ceremony. That she had attempted to return to South Africa, unable to go through with the marriage. The palace dismissed these as cruel lies, mere tabloid fantasy, but the look in Charlene's eyes on her wedding day told a different story, a haunting sadness, a deep sense of surrender, visible even beneath her bridal veil. These haunting images, broadcast live around the world, showed not a joyful bride but a woman walking into a future filled with doubt. The tears she shed at the altar weren't simply tears of happiness. Those who observed closely described them as a mixture of despair, pressure, and silent resignation. While royal officials insisted everything was fine, behind closed doors it was a different tale altogether. Those early months in the palace were marked by isolation and fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being forever seen as the outsider. There were tensions with palace staff, misunderstandings with royal aides, and unrelenting public curiosity. Charlene reportedly struggled with palace culture, unable to fully assimilate into the Monegasque lifestyle, where discretion, lineage, and tradition reigned supreme. Unlike the British or Danish royal houses, Monaco's monarchy is small, intimate, and fiercely scrutinized by both its people and the world's press. There is no place to hide. And perhaps most difficult of all was the pressure to produce an heir. The Monegasque line is ancient, and the expectations placed on Charlene to ensure its continuation weighed heavily on her. After years of waiting, in 2014, she gave birth to twins, Jacques and Gabriella. The joy of motherhood was undeniable, yet it didn't erase the emotional toll of the years prior. Charlene's health, both mental and physical, began to falter. In the years following the birth of her children, her appearances became increasingly rare. The media speculated endlessly. Was she ill? Depressed? Was her marriage in crisis? The palace offered little explanation, maintaining a policy of tight-lipped discretion. But behind that curtain, Charlene battled silently. Eventually, in 2021, she left Monaco for South Africa under the guise of a medical mission, where she remained for months due to an ENT infection that allegedly made flying impossible. Yet even then, the rumors exploded. Was she really too sick to return? Or was South Africa an escape? As speculation mounted, the palace released carefully crafted statements. Charlene, they said, was recovering. She needed time and rest. But the truth lingered between the lines. When she finally returned to Monaco, her appearances were brief, subdued, almost ghost-like. A shadow of the vibrant, athletic woman who had once conquered Olympic waters. In 2022, she again disappeared from the public eye. The palace admitted she was receiving treatment in a private facility outside Monaco, citing profound fatigue. Sources close to the family said her health had been deeply affected by the pressures of royal life. Others hinted at emotional and psychological exhaustion. Whatever the cause, the message was clear: this was not the fairy tale ending the world had once believed in. Charlene's story resonates deeply because it defies the Cinderella myth that so many royal brides are cast into. The image of the perfect princess, smiling beside her prince, living a dream life in a palace of gold. But Charlene showed the world that the price of a crown can be unbearable. That behind the glitter, royalty can be a gilded cage. And sometimes, no amount of jewels can mask the pain of feeling like a prisoner in your own life. Prince Albert, for his part, has tried to shield his wife from the worst of the speculation. He's spoken in interviews of her struggles, her recovery, and their shared commitment to their children. But even he cannot erase the doubts that have long swirled around their relationship. Theirs is not the traditional love story. It is complicated, layered with pressure, public judgment, and emotional distance. In her few interviews, Charlene has remained cautious. She speaks with grace and dignity, but one can sense the weight behind her words. She often emphasizes her love for her children, her desire for privacy, and her hope to use her platform to make a difference. But she rarely speaks about herself. About her pain, her fear, her isolation, perhaps because some wounds are too deep, or perhaps because in the world of royalty, vulnerability is not easily forgiven. Today, Princess Charlene continues to perform her royal duties, but with limits. Her public schedule is carefully curated. She rarely speaks publicly. When she appears, she often wears neutral colors, her expressions measured, her gestures subdued. She is present, yet distant. Visible, yet unreachable. It is as if she has learned to survive by becoming a shadow, there, but never fully seen. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that behind every royal title lies a human being. A woman with dreams, fears, and heartbreaks. Princess Charlene's journey has been one of quiet resilience in the face of overwhelming pressure. She may never reveal the full extent of her struggles. But in every carefully controlled smile, in every moment of visible discomfort, in every long absence, her truth echoes loudly. And so, the fairy tale continues, not as a dream, but as a reality filled with complexity, emotion, and endurance. Princess Charlene's life behind palace walls reminds us that royalty, while dazzling on the outside, can be deeply stormy within. The question remains whether she has found peace or continues to search for it, alone, even among the most elite company. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more untold royal stories and behind-the-scenes revelations. Comment your thoughts below and join the discussion. Has Princess Charlene truly found her place in the royal world, or is she still silently struggling behind the palace gates?